Hello, it's Hello Sandwich here. My name is Ebony Vagis, and today I'll be showing you how to make a notebook using things you might already have around your home. Today I'm using an assorted range of multicolored paper. You can use whatever you have, whether you have A4 paper, white paper, striped paper, anything is okay. And also the thickness of your notebook is up to you. I would suggest maybe about 10 to 20 sheets might be a nice way to go. After you've selected your paper, simply pop the paper in an order that you feel comfortable with. You might like certain colors next to each other, you might like to start off with white paper, or you might like to start off with a colored paper. So take the time and just arrange that paper exactly how you'd like it. Now once you're happy with the arrangement of the paper color combinations, simply place them all together in a neat pile. Double check that you've got them exactly how you'd like them, and carefully fold all of the paper at once and crease in the center. Now once you've folded all of your paper in the center, you might want to just slightly change the size or tidy up the edges a little bit. You can do so with a ruler and a cutting knife. I like to line it up with a cutting mat using the lines of the cutting mat just so that you can get it exactly perfect and nice and straight. Now it's time to make our cover. I've used a slightly heavier cardstock that I've spray painted for my cover, but you could use anything you like. Probably like a lightweight cardboard would be my recommendation, but again, it's whatever you have on hand. Once you have your cover, fold that in half, and then you're going to pop your paper, your little notebook next to your cover and align those up and trim the cover to the size of your paper notebook. After that, the next step is just folding over the edges of the cover to fit the size of your notebook. I like to use the handles of the scissors to make the edge really nice and crisp just by using it like a bone folder. Once you've done that crease, you can open up your cover, fold over the edges, and just pop in the inside paper just to double check that it does fit and it looks perfect. Then take some glue, you can use tape glue or normal glue, and just glue the extra flaps of the cover down. This creates a nice edge for your cover. Now once you've done that, just double check that the cover and the inside papers are lined up. If they're not, tap it down on one of the sides, and then you might like to also use your blade knife, ruler and cutting mat and just trim off those lines so they're perfect. Just trim off the edge, maybe 5 millimeters, so it's perfect. You will want to trim off the edges nice and slowly with a little bit of pressure each time, just so that it doesn't snag as you keep going on. Now once you've got your book and your cover together, you might like to just pop the elastic band around it just to double check that it's all working out right and you're happy with the amount of paper in there and whatnot. Have a little peek at that, and then once again remove the elastic band, because what we're going to do now is just make the edge a little bit cuter. So the spine, we're going to use some masking tape and just tape that on, and then trim the edges with some scissors. You can use your fingers to push that down and just make sure there's no little funny edges sticking out or whatnot. After you've done the spine, it's also nice to cover up the inside of the cover flaps. I like to use 2 different color tapes to do that. So first of all, I've used some turquoise green here. Simply stick that down and then trim the edges with some scissors. You can use the same color for both of the inside flaps if you like, or if you're like me and you like it a little bit different, by all means use 2 colors. Now that you've done that, you can go ahead and fasten the book and the notebook with an elastic band. And now the fun part, we can decorate the cover. I've used some assorted kind of print-out collage materials, but honestly you can use whatever you have at home. You might have some cute drawings, you could use masking tape. I also love to tear the edges instead of using scissors all the time. It gives sort of a nice antique kind of rustic feel to the artwork. Before you stick them down, you can sort of play around, move them whichever direction, just get a feel for how you'd like the cover design to look. Once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and use your glue and stick those together. Once you stick those down, just push with your fingers to keep them nice and firm in the location until they dry. Looks so cute already! Another thing I love to do when I'm making notebooks or any kind of craft work is I like to add a little bit of decoration with masking tape on the corners. Now this obviously is really cute, I think so, but it's also really good to sort of reinforce the corners and just protect them a little bit, especially if it's a notebook you'll be taking out and about. Again, you might like to use the same colours on both corners, or you might like to use the different colours. It's up to you. Everything is completely up to you. Once you've got your corners, you can use your scissors to trim off the edges. I like to do that from the inside of the notebook. It just gives me a better visual of exactly the right spot to cut. I also love decorating my covers or my craft works with assorted stickers, whether they're polka dot stickers or little square stickers like we're using here. We're also going to be using some star stickers here. But honestly, anything you like is gorgeous. I've just decorated the front of the notebook today, but you could decorate the back, the inside covers, and also the inside papers. Kawaii! It's Japanese for cute. I'm sure you know that word. Now, inside the book, I love to create some little pockets just to keep things like tickets or little memos or whatever you might have. So today I've used a plain page, a plain white page, and I've just used a little pocket that I bought at the 100 yen store. And I've just cut that to size, again using my blade knife and my cutter and my cutting mat. And then just to make it a little bit easier to add things inside this, I like to use scissors to curve just the top of the little pocket so that it's easy to pop things in and out. Once you've done that, you can use your glue again and place that neatly in place inside your book. If you take some masking tape, you can cut a small little piece and cut that into a square. Once you've done that, cut that square into two triangles, so cut it on a diagonal into two triangles, and they make kind of like a little photo album corner. It's just again, it's great for reinforcement, but also I mostly do it because I think it looks cute. Now, if you don't have any of these little pockets that I've bought from the 100 yen store, you could use a little envelope that you already have, or also you can make your own one. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. I've just used a piece of cardboard that I've hand painted some coloured stripes on. Just double check the size and make it a size that you're happy with. Now ideally you'd like to fold the edges in 1 centimetre, around 3 edges. Use your finger to push down to make that nice little edge line nice and crisp. And just double check that that size is going to work out for you on your page. Once you're happy with that, just trim the edges on a diagonal so that this avoids the bulk on the corners. And I also like to trim the top 2 corners on a diagonal as well. If you like to reduce the bulk a little bit more, you can trim the edges just a tiny bit as shown here. Now once you're happy with the size of your little pocket, again, if you would like to, and it does make things a bit easier, just use your scissors to round off the little top of your pocket. Once you're happy with your little curve, you can use some glue and put the glue on the 3 edges and then stick it to your inside notebook. A little tip when you're sticking it in is just make it a little bit sort of padded out at the top rather than completely flush and flat. And that allows you to put in as many things as you like to a certain extent and it just sort of makes it a lot easier to pop your tickets or whatnot inside the item. Again, if you'd like to cut a small square into 2 little triangles And again, you can make little photo pocket corner style corners. Cute, looks cute. It just adds a little bit of something fun and when you're flicking through the pages of your notebook. I really love to add these pockets. Of course, you can add as many as you would like. Now next we're going to make some cute little kind of origami style bows. Simply take some card or paper and use masking tape along the edge. And once you've done that, just take your ruler and trim off along the edge of the masking tape width. I like to use coloured paper here so that when we do make the next step, you'll see that you'll also be able to see the yellow on the inside. Now once you've done that, fold over the paper and masking tape into like a ribbon style and push along the edges. Once you're happy with the shape, you can use your glue again to fasten this in place. You can leave your ribbon edges and length as long as you like. And you can cut them using two little snips in like a upside down V, just like that, and do that on the other side as well. And now you've got the cute little ribbon ready for your book. You can add your ribbons to any page you like inside your book using some glue. Kawaii, so cute. I'm just going to make another little bow as well because they're so cute. This time I'm using a pink and white stripe masking tape, again with the yellow cardboard, lightweight cardboard paper. Again, just slice that cardboard. Now, if you would like a really skinny one, you can even cut this in half even, so half of the width of the masking tape if you'd like. That makes a really cute sort of miniature size one, which is also adorable. And just pull off any odd bits that you might have come across. And now again, just fold that over into a bow shape as shown and fasten with some glue in the center. You can see how you can see the little yellow just at the top there, which is a nice little touch instead of using white paper. Now this time we're just going to cut on a diagonal just to show you another way that you could cut the edges if you'd like to. Cute! Now we can add this on the same page or another page or even on the cover or wherever you like. You just use your glue to stick that to the page. I've stuck them on a little diagonal just for a bit of fun and playfulness in the notebook. also be fun to make a lot of these little ribbons, and you could even pop them in a pocket so that when you're out and about you could give them to friends, or you could decorate something else with them. The bows are adorable as is, but if you would like, you can also use some stickers just to adorn the center of the bow. Cute! Looks so playful and fun already. We haven't even started using our notebook. And voila! Dekimashita! Japanese for it's done! So you can use your notebook for any sort of journaling, list writing, anything you like at all. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and please enjoy making craft. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye!